What's up, everyone? My name's Steven, and today I'm going to be going over the exact funnel that I would build and have built for partners in the past who have generated over 50 booked calls per month on autopilot with pre qualified founders of people looking to raise between 1 million and 100 million or more in capital, whether that be equity or debt. So, if we're talking about capital advisory today, why the heck do I have a Shopify store pulled up behind me? Well, essentially, my team and I started servicing e-commerce clients starting out, and we actually got good results for them. We learned a lot about direct response marketing, funnel building, that sort of thing, and getting people to actually react to what we were putting in front of them. But the margins just weren't there in the e-commerce space. So with the network that I had, I transitioned my entire agency over to the capital markets, the lending space, and then also the real estate space because they all kind of coincide. And got involved more and more with that, with the network I had, started getting really good results for the clients and partners that I was working with. And now, essentially, what I'll be doing is going over the exact funnel that has produced over hundreds of millions of dollars in capital raised volume and over tens of millions of dollars in pipeline value. That's kind of who I am. And yeah, so let's jump right into it. So essentially, we have to know who this is for. This is for the capital advisor firms, the boutique investment banks, and the family office consultants, and essentially whoever else is helping raise capital for other founders or companies. This is a high level overview of the funnel that we use to generate book calls, and we've actually generated literally book calls for under $10 for some partners of ours. So the funnel definitely works. I guess the system, the framework, it all works. It's a proven system. And you can generate leads for less than your average Starbucks order, and it works wonders. So before we can jump into a solution, we have to assess the problem. So the problem in the capital advisory space in general is that it's primarily based on referral business, cold email, cold calling potentially. I don't really know if that's super popular, but definitely referral business and then cold email. And then a lot of LinkedIn messaging as well. So why are outbound leads not that good? Most often you're contacting the leads too early. So they're not necessarily looking for capital right now. They might not even have thought about it. And you kind of struck that idea inside their head of like, hey, we might need to raise capital in the near future. They don't have a pitch deck ready. And I'm not saying every lead that we generate has a pitch deck, but it's definitely something that's really uncommon when you're reaching out to people. And then they also don't know how much they need to raise typically. These are also people that when you're reaching out to them, your perceived value on, like, let's say a sales call lowers, as opposed to an inbound lead from a paid ad. It definitely raises that perceived value of you, because they're coming to you, you're not going to them. So definitely waste a lot of time with these outbound and referral business methods. Essentially, paid ads is, in my opinion, the best way to scale a business in general. So now that we know the problem, we can kind of figure out a solution. So the proven funnel that I'd start with an offer, and within that offer, the two things that have worked the best for my partners and I is you have to have two things in your offer: credibility and a guarantee to make it work the best. And what I mean by that is, for example, one of our partners has raised over $3.5 billion in debt and equity for clients of theirs. So they have a lot of experience in the industry. They know what they're talking about, and their perceived likelihood of achievement for raising capital is probably a lot higher than other companies out there. And they're a boutique capital advisory firm. So when you're creating an offer, by the way, what I would highly recommend is going to something like ChatGPT and typing in and then you can actually, what's really cool is if you're on the premium version of ChatGPT, you can actually plug in your personal website, and then it'll take all the accolades, whatever, if you don't want to like plug that in yourself, or you can just tell the ChatGPT your company name, and sometimes it'll just pull it straight from the internet. But let's see what it came up with. And so condition. So here's what you get. Okay, so I didn't really. Here, make an offer. Irresistible offer. So I have Alex Hormozi's value equation plugged in here, if you guys are familiar with Alex Hormozi. But essentially it's, we'll get your company in front of 5+ qualified capital sources, so investors essentially, debt or equity in 21 days or less, or we work for free until we do. So that's just like, obviously you want to stick to what you actually offer. You can tell it like your initial offer and then maybe play around with it. Some of you just have such a good offer already, you can just use that, plug it into ads, and you can run with it. But you also, let's see, conditional guarantee. If we don't introduce you to at least 5 qualified lenders in 21 days, we'll work for free until we do. So this just builds a lot of trust, or refund your advisory fee. This builds a lot of trust. It gets them in the door, but you have to make it a conditional guarantee. So essentially inside of this guarantee in your contract, what you're going to do is just say, hey, if you can't, this is kind of a hard example, but let's say it's like actually capital raised guarantee, like a capital raise guarantee. You can make it conditional based on how well their close rate is, for example, with an investor or whatever. So if you're confident that you can bring these connect investors to the founders of the companies that are raising capital, just include that in the guarantee, but then kind of include the conditions and the contingencies to make the founders have some skin in the game, so they're not, so it protects you a little bit essentially too. Cool. So the next step would be the traffic source, and by far Meta Ads works the best out of all the paid social platforms out there. Meta has the best AI engines, the best targeting. Overall, is just the best in general. They have the most users between Facebook and Instagram. So definitely recommend. And this isn't a tutorial video on how to run Meta Ads, but maybe down the road I'll start producing content of like how to make an offer, how to make ads, how to run ads. But yeah, the paid ads on Meta is definitely the most important. So, and just for reference, we ran ads for this company right here. It was just an initial test. It was literally the first like day of running ads. We did a $20 a day budget, which is literally nothing. And we got cost per result $9.39, so for 2 leads, so less than $10 per lead. And what's really cool is if you click into the actual ads, you'll see that it was only $5.34 per lead, and one out of the 2 leads booked a call. We didn't even have any of the automations in place to like the appointment centers in place at the time. This was just an initial test for their company, and we had one person naturally book a call from a lead form. So I'll get into that in a sec. So what you're going to want to do for your next step is, after you have an offer and you know that you're running Meta Ads, you're going to want to go to arcads.ai right here. And this is where you can make high quality AI ads without getting in front of the camera. So you don't have to worry about getting in front of the camera or anything like that. There's also an option to make static image ads in Canva. I'm sure most of you might be familiar with canva.com, which is also just image editing software, super easy to use. They have a lot of templates that you can use where you just plug in your offer into a good looking ad that kind of represents your company. Going back to ArcAds, I don't know if you guys can hear the volume, but a lot of these videos, they just have the main script that they use for like the demo to show you what they look like.
Welcome.
Trust me when I say they're a lot better when you actually plug in the actual script, so you can kind of see.
Hey you, welcome to ArcAds. I'm one of the natural AI actors you can use for your ads.
Hey you, welcome to ArcAds. I'm one of the natural AI actors you can use for your ads.
So it's going to sound a lot different with an actual script, and you can play around with the tonality, pretty much any setting you can play around with to make it look and sound like a real person. What I would recommend as a pro tip is to only use actors that are walking. So in some of these videos, you can see
Welcome to
that
Arcads. I'm one of the
that's not a good idea. That's not a good example, but essentially there's videos of some people walking, and it makes it look way more natural than if someone was just sitting down. This looks unnatural.
Hey you, welcome to Arcads. I'm one of the natural...
Hey you, welcome to
This
our
looks a
Arcads.
lot better.
I'm one of the natural AI actors you can use for your ads. Tap.
So, yeah, essentially, this is the best AI ads maker on the market right now that I know of. I believe it's like $110 for 10 videos. You have to use those 10 videos in the first month. I can have all this linked down below so you know which site to go to. So that's simple enough. And there's always tutorials online on how to use both of these. So just do some research if you're interested. And then the next step after you get attention from your ads, you're going to want to create a landing page or a lead form. So in the beginning stages, I definitely recommend a lead form just because it's a lot quicker and a lot more simple to set up. It's all in Facebook under the Facebook Ads Manager. Whereas a landing page is kind of once you have a tried and true tested offer, then that's when you can get into creating a landing page that has a VSL, like a video sales letter, that explains more of your company and what you do and who you are. Landing pages can be more effective if they're set up properly and if you have a proven offer, but right now speed's the name of the game in terms of testing. So I would just recommend starting out with a lead form. Within the lead form, you're going to want to have qualifying questions. So these are kind of like pre-qualifying questions, just to make sure that they're not bots that are filling out the form. You want to maybe include your like the leads raised target, the industry vertical that they're in, such as like a fintech company, for example, previous capital raised, like what stage of their capital raise are they in, and timeline, timeline and urgency. And this might just help for hopping on a sales call and like actually knowing when they want to raise the capital for. And the next step is you're going to want to, after you get leads through the lead forms and you're actually generating leads, the next step is you're going to want to incorporate automations, AI appointment setters, and a scheduling system. So what I personally recommend, what I use is a platform called Go High Level. Go High Level right here. Or I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. So Go High Level is an all-in-one CRM platform, but the main thing I use it for, and how I use it with my partners as well, is I use the AI appointment setting automations that you can set up inside the platform, and you can integrate your calendars. So essentially what happens is you can create an AI appointment setter that will reach out to a lead within the first 3 to 5 minutes. I recommend 4 minutes wait time to reach out to a lead, and you can it'll be the same first initial message that you send out to every lead that comes in from the lead form. And then after that, what happens is the lead will respond. It'll two things will happen. It'll either respond, or they'll either respond, or they won't respond, and they'll get put into a lead nurturing sequence that essentially tries to get them to respond. And if they do respond, it just kind of goes back and forth with them until they book a call and nurtures them into a book call automatically. And this is where a lot of people mess up, is they don't have this system in place. And not just people in this industry in general, but across every industry that I've seen, a lot of businesses struggle with this, where they incorporate paid ads into their systems. They generate leads, and then they have no way of actually nurturing the leads into a book call, a booked appointment, or anything. And it's just a huge headache, and it's just a lot of wasted money and time. So you definitely want to incorporate Go High Level and these AI appointment setters and automations into the system. Then, and by the way, it can handle follow-ups, rescheduling, and no-shows. It can even you can even tell it like what FAQs to answer and what personality type you want it to have. And it can either text, or you can set it to go to Synflow. This is Synflow.ai. I'll have all these linked down below, by the way. But this is Synflow AI. It's just an integration platform you can connect with Go High Level, which is really nice. And it's an AI caller. So you can I recommend text messaging just to start out, but you can set SynFlow up with an AI caller if you really want. That's kind of more for like people who are trying to scale, in my opinion. But SynFlow is just kind of another plug that I'll put you guys on. That out of all the AI callers, I think this is the best one on the market right now. So the next and final step in the system framework is you're going to want to have automations for appointment reminders. And this is super important to increase your show up rate for the leads that do actually book the calls. Essentially, these are just appointment reminder sequences that you can set up inside of Go High Level. I know Calendly offers appointment reminders, but these ones are way more customizable and honestly a little bit more effective than just like normal Calendly appointment reminder automations. You can essentially get them to confirm their call after booking a call. Then after that, you can send out a appointment reminder 24 hours before the call, an hour before the call, 5 minutes before the call. That's what we do. And then it just drastically increases the show up rates to the calls. So if you guys incorporate everything that I just laid out in this video today and built your own funnel just like this, you can seriously expect to see between anywhere from 20 to 50 plus book calls with pre-qualified founders per month on autopilot. I'm serious, guys. If you're not using AI or automations or paid ads in your industry in today's day and age, you are truly falling behind. Last thing, if you want to partner with me and my team, book a call below. I'll have my website linked below, and we'll build the entire system out for you. We'll take care of all the fulfillment, so all you have to worry about is hopping on sales calls with founders who are looking to raise capital. And we structure our partnerships so it's on a pay per performance basis. So you only pay when we perform, so it's mutually beneficial to both partners. But I only work with a handful of firms at a time. So if you're at all interested and want to implement the exact same system that's booking 20 to 50 calls a month per partner, book a call below with my team and I. We'll be in contact, and I will continue to create videos like this to provide as much value to you guys as possible. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thanks.